Welcome into the Panthers.com video mailbag presented by CEENTA. Staff writer Max Henson here answering your questions as we get set for this trip to Washington. First one this week, how will our defensive game plan differ now that TD is back? Well, the game plan's not going to differ at all. It's just a matter of adding one of the best outside linebackers in the game, and that's the difference, and that's a huge boost for this Carolina defense. It's one thing what TD brings to this defense from a morale standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, and it's another what he brings as a sideline-to-sideline dynamic playmaker. So obviously everybody very happy to have him back in the lineup. I think what the biggest change is going to come is for some of the other players on this defense, guys like Shaq Thompson, Captain Munnerlyn, David Mayo. They've kind of been playing in a different role, so to speak, with TD absent those first 4 games. That's obviously going to change a little bit with TD, the team captain, the leader of this defense, back in the lineup. Next question, what can the defense do to get more pressure on opposing quarterbacks? Yeah, that's a good question, and it's one that's kind of been bugging the Panthers the past few weeks, not really getting to the quarterback as much as they would like. Eric Washington talks about it all the time. They've got to affect the passer. So ways to do that, yeah, you could blitz more, and there are different things you could do to try to confuse an offensive line, but the bottom line for Eric Washington, and he will be the first to say this, is Panthers need to win their one-on-one matchups on the line of scrimmage. It's as simple as that. There's going to be a guy who gets a one-on-one opportunity. They have to win that battle more consistently than they have and get to the quarterback. Next question, when will Samuel and Moore become the top 2 wideouts? I think we got to pump the brakes a little bit on this sentiment. I know everybody is very excited about what Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore did against the Giants. They're young, explosive playmakers, and look, they can make stuff happen when they get the ball in their hands. I mean, we saw that against New York. But I don't think they're quite ready for number 1, number 2 wideout role just yet. I mean, there are other guys on this offense, Devin Funchess being one of them, who play a vital role at that X-receiver spot. You're talking about 2 young guys who still have a lot to learn. You don't want to overextend them too much early in their career. I get it. We want to see them get more touches, more involved. That's one thing. That'll happen gradually. But I think it's more about right now giving them a bucket of plays for them to do really, really well. Let them master that, and then give it time, be a little patient, and a larger role for those 2 will come. Last question, with the increased involvement of Moore and getting Samuel back, what will the role of Torrey Smith become? Okay, so this is another one of those wide receivers we're talking about here, and yeah, Torrey has had a pretty slow start to this season. The good thing about Torrey, though, is he is about as unselfish as it gets at the wide receiver spot. He knows that it's going to come eventually, and North Turner knows that it's going to come eventually. He's mentioned that Torrey has been playing well, the ball just hasn't been coming his way. You look at that third quarter against the Giants, one play in particular I'll show you, he's wide open running down the middle of the field. Cam just doesn't see him. So maybe in one of these games upcoming here, Cam and Torrey will connect for one of these big plays that we know he's capable of.